Hi everybody, welcome to my kitchen. This is my Newfie kitchen, my actual Newfie kitchen, which of course is a lot smaller than the kitchen we used to have in Ontario. So we're filming a little differently because I don't have an island, and we are working on creative ways of storage. So when we get all that worked out, I'll give you a kitchen tour. But today is our first video from Newfoundland. Of course, we moved in the 20th of December, and we landed in this house on the 5th of January. So it hasn't even been 2 months yet. I'm filming this on the 24th of February, but you're gonna see it on the 1st of March. And we're back. Thank you for sticking with me while I took a couple of months off to move and unpack, which we still haven't finished, and so on and so forth. But it's all good. It's all good. Now, we're going to do a Newfie recipe, a Newfoundland recipe. So this is a little cookbook, Newfoundland recipes. I have my name written on top. And it's been around for years and years and years and years. I don't know if it's written in the front. 1979. So this has been around a long time, and it's just a collection of traditional Newfoundland recipes. So what we're going to do today is molasses buns. Now the recipe itself, it gives you the temperature and it gives you the minutes to cook it, but it doesn't tell you how many you're supposed to have or how big they're supposed to be. So at the description box below, I'll make sure to have a link or have all that there for you. It's something new I'm trying to do, so bear with me if it's not quite right, but we'll get there. So, molasses buns. It calls for 1 cup of molasses, which we have here. 1 cup of melted butter, which I've already got here, and Caitlin's going to be in charge of mixing that up for me. I know, they don't need to see my feet. She's telling me I don't have my socks on, but I don't film my feet, so that's okay. We're gonna have 1 egg and a 1/2 cup of milk. Now, I'm using tin milk, evaporated milk, but you use whatever milk you have, in your fridge. Don't worry about it. Even if you have 1/2 and 1/2, or even maybe a drop of yogurt if you don't have any actual milk. But it is traditional in baking here to use the tin milk. So that's what's going on in our wet ingredients, which Caitlin's going to be looking after stirring up. So let's get that going. As you can see, I don't have a lot of counter space. It's kind of this and that. So I do struggle a bit, but we're getting there. Okay, so I've shown you this trick before, but when you're doing molasses or honey or maple syrup, you can coat your measuring cup with a little bit of oil, and I'm just going to use my fingers just to make sure it's all coated, because we could be here all day. There we go. Now, excuse me, just had to get a paper towel right off my hands. All right, so now we need 1 cup of molasses. Now on this measuring cup, I can see it from the top. I don't have to look this way, which is great. Barry bought me these. They're fantastic. So 1 cup of molasses is going to get added to our 1 cup of melted butter. And there we have 1 cup. There we go. So that's going to go in here. And as you can see, it pretty much comes out of the measuring cup without leaving too much in there to get stuck. Okay. See? Isn't that cute? I thought that was great when I saw that little trick. All right, so you can start mixing that up, Caitlin. And we need a 1/2 cup of milk. So I'm going to use the same cup. No need to dirty another cup. There we go. So once you open a can of milk, put it in the fridge. It will last for several days. that there. And Miss Caitlin, you can put in the 1 egg, okay? She can crack that and everything. She's good at that. Okay, so now we're going to concentrate on our dry ingredients. Now our dry ingredients is 4½ cups of flour. Just going to scoot you down a little bit for this one so you can see what I'm doing. You won't be able to see me technically, but you'll see. Oh, here I am. You'll be able to see what we're doing. So we got 4½ cups of flour. Just 1 egg, yep. 4½ cups of flour, and it calls for 1 cup of sugar. So there's the sugar, and I have my 1 cup. And the sugar gets mixed in with the flour. It doesn't get mixed in with the wet ingredients this time. So just 1 cup. There we go. Of sugar. Put that back over because I have limited counter space. And 2 teaspoons of ginger, 2 teaspoons of cloves, ground cloves, and 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and a pinch of salt. So I'm going to put in the pinch of salt. And then I'm going to put in the baking soda before I put my spoon into, just lay there, just lay here for now, in the bowl. Now, I still have not unpacked my teaspoons. I have no idea where they are. So I'm just going to use an ordinary everyday kitchen teaspoon, and it calls for 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to call that a kitchen teaspoon, a little bit heaping, 2 measured teaspoons. That's what we're going to do. I tried the recipe before, worked out best fine. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the ginger because it calls for 2 teaspoons. And then we're going to do the same thing with the cloves. Now my spoon won't fit down there, so we're just going to do it this way. And there you go. We're going to call that 2 teaspoons. All right. Okay, so we've got our flour, our sugar, our ginger, our cloves, our baking soda, and our pinch of salt. So what I'm going to do now is just stir this around to combine. Just to make sure that, you know, you don't get a clump of cloves or whatnot in your buns. You want them evenly combined. Now the recipe does not say to do this. It just says to you know, add the dry to the wet. I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to make a well. As you can see, I'm making a little hole or a well in the bottom of the bowl. Then we're going to add our wet ingredients and then start stirring that. So, excuse me, let's get a wooden spoon. So, can I have the wet ingredients, Caitlin? Thank you. There we go. And I'm going to pour all of that in the well. That in the sink, and then we're going to start stirring from the well. We're going to start folding like through it and around it. Bless you. Go around the side. So this is folding. This is not stirring. If you stir too much, you activate the gluten in the flour, and then you get tough buns, and that's not good. Okay, and we're getting there. Now, this recipe also calls for you to put it out on a floured board and roll it. Now, as you can see, that's very wet and not at all a solid dough. So when I tested the recipe, we did it in a muffin pan. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to line the muffin pan. So we'll end up with 12. Yeah, there's we'll end up with a little more than 12, approximately 18 or 20 molasses buns done in the muffin pans. So I'm going to grease the muffin pans and we'll be right back. Buddy, so we have our muffin pans lined, or you could grease them, like I said a few minutes ago. This recipe you could roll out if you wanted to, but when I did that, it required a whole lot of flour and was quite difficult. So, like I said, we're just going to use our muffin pans. And we're going to do 1 scoop per pan. Like that. So when we get those all filled up, we'll be right back. Hi everybody, so let me bring you back up a little bit. So we got a total of 20 molasses buns that we're doing in our muffin tins instead of like rolling them out and trying to cut them. Now that was a 1/4 cup scoop. So if you made a little bit smaller ones, you would probably get the 24, but I'm very happy with the 20. So the oven has been preheated to 400 degrees and it says to put them in for 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm gonna check them after 15 minutes, and when we come back, they'll be done and I'll show you the finished product. And in the meantime, I have to clean up, and so does Caitlin. I'm standing in front of the dishwasher, and the dishwasher is Caitlin's domain. So she's waiting patiently. Your chores, that's right. She's waiting patiently to clean the kitchen. So we'll be back in a little bit. Hi everybody. Okay, so our molasses buns are done and they look fantastic. So when you're checking the buns, can you come a little closer, Barry? In order to make sure that they're done, see I got a little fingerprint here? That's when I tested them and they weren't finished cooking. So when you can push in a little bit, I can't push it all now because they're cooled off, but when you can push in a little tiny bit and it bounces back up, this one didn't bounce back up, but when it bounces back up, that means your molasses buns are done. So I'm gonna try this one. They're still a bit warm. Now we had 20 and they were in the oven for a total at 400 for 25 minutes. But if you have smaller ones, I would check them after 20. So if you end up with 24 buns, I would check them after 20 minutes because all the ovens are different and so on and so forth. Oh my, that looks good. They're really good. I love to slap a bit of butter on here now. Delicious. So, if you want to freeze these, put them on a cookie sheet just like this for about a half an hour, and then put them in a freezer baggie, and they won't stick together. That you'll be able to pull them out as you want them, as you need them. Then you can pop in the microwave for like 5, 7, 10 seconds. And it'd be like having fresh buns. But these are really good. They're not nearly as sweet as what you think they might be. But I hope you give it a go. Enjoy. God bless. Bye. Are you videoing? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were taking a picture.